Hello and welcome to the Empowered by Claudia podcast, where we explore all things self-development. Here you'll discover practical tools, tips and strategies to help you feel more confident, empowered and in control of your life. I'm Claudia, I'm your host, I'm a registered nurse and mindset coach, fear of success instructor, and most importantly, your guide on your self-development journey. I know firsthand how confusing and overwhelming and isolating this path can feel. So I created this podcast so you never have to navigate it alone. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Empowered by Claudia podcast. I'm your host Claudia, and today we have a very special guest. Her name is Jade, and she is a postnatal doula who is gradually building a business she feels really passionate about while continuing to work part-time whilst raising her young son. She created her business after experiencing firsthand just how much support families often need in those early weeks, and her work now centres around helping parents to feel held, understood and less alone. As her business grows, so too does the question of when and how to step away from employed work. Like many people navigating a big transition, she finds herself caught between the desire for freedom and purpose and the understandable pull of financial security and certainty. Today, we're exploring what might be keeping her stuck and what moving forwards could really look like. Jade, does that feel like a fair reflection of where things are for you now?
Yeah, definitely. You couldn't have put it any better.
I had a bit of time to reflect after our last chat, and I thought, well, how do I bring it all together into like a little intro? So obviously this is your coaching session, and I know from what we've talked about that things may have changed a little bit. So essentially what I want to start with is to find out what would be helpful for you by the end of our session today. Is there anything that you want to achieve, anything different you want to feel? What would be a really good use of this next hour?
Sort of just unblocking what's holding me back from my potential while I'm juggling it all to then be able to say, right, I can leave my job.
Yeah, exactly.
These. Yeah.
That's okay. I'm just going to write that down. And do you have any idea of what that might be? Or is that something that you think would benefit from digging into?
I definitely think it'd be beneficial to dig into it a bit more because there's of course, like what you said, the security and the making sure everything's covered kind of thing that a 9 to 5 typically brings. So yeah, there is that, but I think it's a little bit deeper as well sometimes. I do wonder if it's like those sort of family beliefs and breaking the cycle of what the norm is sort of thing sometimes as well.
I think you've tapped in already, like a minute in, is that it's generally not just what's on the surface. Actually, it sometimes takes like a little bit of exploring. And so if you kind of think back, so what you just said about family, is there anything that comes to mind when you said that? Like, was there anything that linked to, even if it doesn't seem related on the surface?
Well, like in an employed job when you have to like phone in sick,
Yeah.
a lot of my family are like, you just have to keep going. You just have to show up, do what you need to do, get paid. And like when I left school as well, there was this like expectation to find a job and be like secure in a job, and like so much pride around me getting my first apprenticeship, and it was my first full-time role. And so I think that is kind of there, but nothing else kind of springs to mind really. I've had some conversations with my dad. He's done like self-employed and employed, and he's very anti-self-employed now. Like he prefers the security and not having to do his taxes and worry about all that side of things.
Yeah. Did he have a negative experience?
I think it was just a bit like hit and miss, and maybe his mindset went right at the right time, sort of thing. Because then his sister, for example, absolutely inspires me because that's all she's ever done is be self-employed. So I don't know if I'm just having the conversations with the wrong people sometimes, maybe.
Yeah, I think There's like two ways that it can go, isn't there? Like, there's sometimes that you have a conversation with someone who has the opposite viewpoint, and actually that can seed some doubt, or it can go, actually, I'm going to do it in spite of what they say.
Yeah.
Like when like the classic thing when you say to a kid, like, don't touch that, they immediately want to touch it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, are you like drawn towards doing it because you said don't do it? Versus actually like, oh, I'm going to actually take that on board. But I did, when you were talking about your dad in the business and you said, oh, it was a bit hit and miss, is that where the concern about, like, obviously when you're in an employed role, you get paid every week or every 4 weeks or whatever, you get, it's a regular payment. And is that maybe where it's come from, seeing that your dad had that kind of irregularity in income? Or
Potentially, yeah. I like to know what's coming in when.
Mm.
That's security, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what would feel secure?
A regular amount that covers my bills and my business expenses.
Mhm.
I'm not bothered about a fancy life or anything. I just want to be flexible with my son and have everything covered. Like,
Yeah. But you can
Mm.
want a fancy life.
Mm.
And I know at the moment, it's like, actually the first step is making sure that my expenses are covered and that, I've got everything that I need for security. But it's also okay to dream of a fancy life.
Yeah.
How does
Yeah,
that
that's
feel?
true. The first thing that comes to mind is I want to go on a Disney cruise.
Yes, I want that for you. I literally, do you know what? I'll be cheering you on. And on my vision board is a picture of Disney, Euro Disney, because I want to take the kids there. I'd absolutely love it when you say, look, me, Noah, hubby, we're all going on a cruise. We're loving life. And like that would just be amazing. And it is coming. You will be on that Disney cruise.
Yeah.
I think, as you said, there's something that holds us back, and it's not. There's many things, isn't it? So we're so used to a system that, really celebrates being employed, doing the thing, like you said, leaving school, getting a job, having that security. And how do you think you could create that security in your business?
So it's only in the last 2 days that I've actually kind of come up with some sort of idea and plan of this. So definitely think a passive income stream of something that's out there and I can just add to and grow and put the work in now. So like a wellbeing hub for mums is what is my kind of goal, like something that people can tap into, like mums can tap into in the 5 minutes they've got spare, just to ground or work on their well-being or have 5 minutes to themselves or whatever it is they need to take from it. So that's a very early vision, but to be able to get that set up and have like a good amount of people in there that I know that's kind of going to be coming in every month, and I'm supporting those mums on a bit of a larger scale because it's going to be groups rather than one-to-one, have like a community behind it and everything as well. I feel like that's going to create that passive income in the background so that then I can be a doula without thinking, is this going to cover the bill? If that makes sense.
So do you think that being a doula alone is not going to cover the bills?
It can. I believe it can. It's finding the people who it's accessible to. So the wellbeing hub will kind of be accessible for anyone. And then the doula clients, it'd be the more affluent people. Yeah. And I think when I'm like just starting up and kind of getting my head around being a doula and gaining some experience in that, I don't feel it's probably my confidence. I don't feel like I'm getting those people
Mm.
coming to me, if that makes sense.
And do you have any examples of people in the doula world that are successful who are covering their bills just with doulaing? And I know it's a really hard question to ask because you don't necessarily see the true picture online. You see like people share successes and stuff. They don't necessarily share, their bank balance. So, but is there any kind of doulas that you know of that kind of inspire you that go, actually, they have made a career from this and this actually is enough?
Yeah, I'm part of a few groups of doulas, and there is definitely more of the middle-aged generation who don't have the young kids and kind of tied into as many responsibilities that I notice doing better.
Yeah.
And I actually was speaking to a doula friend last week when we went for a play date, and she said something similar. Like, we haven't got the flexibility that a doula, like a full-time doula, might need.
Mm.
And I don't know if not doing birth limits me as well, because people typically have a birth doula and then ask them to come in postnatally as well.
Mm.
So I don't know if that's limiting me a bit. But then there's going to be people who don't want a birth doula, isn't there? So
Yeah. Or might it be that you've got a plan, it doesn't go to plan? So you didn't have a plan for a doula, for example. It didn't go to plan and you're left picking up the pieces after that birth and actually thinking, I really need somebody to be there to nurture me and support me. And actually that's where you come in. You're not associated with that birth, however it went on paper, but you are there to go, actually, I can hold you here. I can be that calm in the storm. That person that's like, you are doing a good job.
yeah.
Do enough. When that doubt kicks in, then you get what is it? Day 3 and 4, like I can't remember what they call it, but you're just crying and
Yeah, the hormone dip, yeah.
yeah. And and all of that, and you're literally just sitting there going, why did they let me go home with this human? And like, who said that I was responsible enough for this? That moment, they need somebody to say, actually, no, this is absolutely normal. Everybody feels like this. We just don't talk about it because you feel like when you're talking about it, you have to say, I love my kid, especially in that moment. That's not what people are asking you. People are always doing the good bits. Oh, look, baby's here. I'm bleeding mess, but, baby's here. And
Yeah.
also, you mentioned about like having young children and that like limits your flexibility. But what do you want out of this business? Do you want to be on call all the time?
No.
Completely flexible?
That's why I didn't do the birth side of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get to set up your business for you and your family and for what you need and want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. What I need and want to do is 3 days a week of being a doula.
And how
Yeah.
does it feel when you have that doula client?
So good. Like, I can remember my first client. I literally came out of that session and I cried because I was so happy. And then the next day I had to go back to my admin job, and I just felt this tug the next morning. But like on that first evening I done with her, I was on cloud 9. Like I felt like I was making such a difference to this lady's life and the start of her motherhood. And I still get like that now, like even in like workshops that I do and things like that. Like if people go away and they've had those light bulb moments where they didn't know about the hormone dip you mentioned, for example, it's like, oh, okay. Like, I'm not an emotional person, but this could really affect me and I need to go home and talk to my partner about it.
Yeah.
And they go away with like just that little bit more preparation. That excites me. Like, I feel like I've set them up a little bit better for the storm that motherhood can bring. Like,
and actually, like, having that support and talking to people and go, actually, see, these are going to be the signs that I'm not okay. This is what I'm going to need you to do to help. Like, actually preparing for not just like, oh, I'm going to have to do it all by myself, because it's so hard to ask for help, isn't it?
Yeah, massively.
I'm going to take you back to what you said about being a doula, the belief that actually it's those doulas that don't have young children, they're a bit older, they've got those less commitments, they're the ones that can make a full-time living off part-time hours, as it were.
Yeah.
If you think about that belief, and then you also think about that feeling that you get when you're helping someone with your doulaing, when they go to these workshops, how would it feel to believe that you could do that in this stage of life without sacrificing the family time?
Exciting, very exciting, like humbling as well.
The thing is, it's the knock-on effect, isn't it? Of you're not just helping that woman, you're helping the baby, you're helping the partner, the wider family. Like,
Yeah.
it ripples,
Yeah, absolutely.
and it's so needed.
Yeah, definitely needed. And also,
So,
what came to mind when you said about the older doulas being more successful
mhm.
was also they might resonate with me a bit more. Maybe I need to have a bit more confidence in the fact that I'm a young mum going through it as well. So,
And do you know what? Like, so a friend of mine that I'd met, there was the age difference between me and her, but anyway, so her child was pregnant, and she's like, "Oh, would you talk to them? Because, both of us had this chronic health condition, fibromyalgia, and they were very interested in knowing how I managed it being a parent." And I talked to them, but ultimately, I was 35 when I had my son. I was a matron in the NHS. I had enough income to work part-time. I had enough history behind me to be established in my career and know that, and even then I had doubt about being off for a year and thinking, are they going to replace me? Are they going to forget about me? Am I going to be useless? All of that stuff. But I had all of those years of experience behind me, plus that salary level, to be able to drop the hours. Whereas if you're coming at this at like 18 and you don't have that, that's a very different situation. And actually, as try as I might, I'm not going to be able to resonate as much. I'm going to resonate with the other mums who are also struggling getting down on the floor because we've got dodgy knees and all the baby classes are on the floor. It's like a different, and then that question's like, is it postnatal? Is it perimenopause? Like it's a different thing. And that is why it's stepping in and owning your expertise. Like, know how it is being a young parent and going through that.
Yeah.
I don't know that because I wasn't a young parent.
Mm.
I'm not a
Yeah.
doula either, but but this is my point, compared to their older doulas, they had children in a very different time.
Yeah.
They didn't have every second blasted on social media.
Yeah.
They didn't have all of this advice. Your baby has a weird poo. You go on Google, there's a million different options. And it's those kind of things, isn't it, that is completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So what do you bring that's different?
I guess lived experience of the antenatal and postnatal anxiety, the struggle with returning to work. It literally sent me into burnout, and I had 3 months off sick. And my course that I trained with is solely postnatal, and there's only one training provider who I qualified with who offers just postnatal. So a wider knowledge of the postnatal period, because that's what my sole focus was when I trained.
Okay. That's where your expertise lies.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I just missed that gap of the pregnancy and the birth, and I don't know. But then that's not what they're coming to me for, so I don't need to know all of that, do I?
I think that I don't know any stats necessarily, but it might be something to look at. But how many pregnant people engage a doula versus how many don't? So we're assuming that the ones that engage the doula then continue with them. They may not. They might decide that actually I don't want anything more to do with them. But so even if we just exclude those ones that have, gone with the doula, that still leaves a lot of families that haven't. So if your heart is not in the pregnancy and birth, that doesn't light you up, that doesn't give you joy, that doesn't excite you, leave it to people it does. And actually embrace that and go, actually, do you know what? I'm postnatal doula, and I am going to be here and holding your hand during this transformative and really, really, really tough bit of life. And I'm going to make you feel like you've got this. And I'm going to set you up for your parenthood journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how does that feel?
Better. I think it's the confidence to voice that.
So if you thought about going live, say, for example, and saying, right, this is me. I am Jade. I am awesome. I am a postnatal doula, and I am here to help you navigate the stage. What feelings come up? What thoughts are you saying to yourself? What are the doubts?
It's just finding the right words. I just feel a bit stumbly,
Do you need the right words?
No, that probably resonate to people that stumble with their words and don't get it all right. Yeah.
If you were a mum in the thick of it, it's 2:00 in the morning, the baby's crying, you've tried everything you can think of, but they won't sleep. And you're doing like what feels like the 60th feed of the day, even though it's only 2 a.m.
Mm.
And you're scrolling on social media and they come across your post. Do they need the perfect words? Do they just need to feel seen?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just like I tell them, there's no perfect mum. Your baby doesn't need a perfect mum. They don't need a perfect doula either. They just need to be held and seen in that moment.
And do you push yourself to be perfect?
Like, I know it's okay that I'm not, but I just want to show up as the best I can. So I'd probably say I don't show up as perfect. I don't know. I know I don't need to show up as perfect, but maybe criticise myself after.
So what might we need to change in order to overcome the belief that you don't have to be perfect? Because you can tell yourself up here, I don't need to be perfect.
Mm.
Good enough is enough. But
Mhm.
actually, if you're then criticizing yourself afterwards, it's about how we transfer that belief and actually really, actually truly believe it and go, actually, me being perfect, it doesn't need to be. I don't need to be perfect. How do we really sink that in and anchor that and go, actually, I don't need to be perfect. I can just show up as myself and I am enough.
Find who myself is.
Sorry, sweet.
Find who myself is.
Mm.
Quite deep, isn't it?
Mm.
I feel
But don't get me
like
wrong, I think perfection is something that all of us struggle with. Where do you think the need to be perfect comes from?
don't know. I think it's pressure I put on myself more than anything. Yeah.
What is the risk if you're not perfect? What's the consequence?
Nothing really. Might get it wrong, say sorry, and correct myself, I guess. Learn from it.
Is anyone going
Yeah.
to die?
No.
And I think, working in healthcare, we can associate not being perfect with death
Mm.
and life-threatening things. If I don't do this right, someone might die. And we take that with us into our business.
Mm.
And it took me a while to realize that's what I was doing. I was
Yeah.
like, can't put a post out with a spelling mistake. Someone might die. No, this is not a drug prescription.
Mm.
It's a social media post that like a handful of people will see. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true.
But we have to get that out of the head and in and embraced in your body,
Mm.
because our nervous system doesn't differentiate between the fear in our thoughts versus the real threats. They have the
Mm.
same response. So it
Yeah.
still kicks up our sympathetic nervous system, our fight flight response. And so when you think about something not being perfect, that feels very dangerous.
Mm. Yeah. Hmm.
You okay?
Yeah, light bulb moments.
What would you say was the light bulb for you?
Realising that I'm trying to get it all right, rather than just embracing the journey. At the end of the day, I'm a mum in her 20s trying to build a business. That's pretty amazing.
I mean, being a mum, full stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Being a working mum, full
Mm.
stop. Building a business, like all of it is just so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
When was the last time you gave yourself credit for everything you're doing?
I don't know. Don't know. I gave myself, like, on Wednesday night, I was sent home from work because I was just so burnt out and overwhelmed, and tearful and just couldn't concentrate. I spoke to my husband on his lunch and said I've been sent home from work, and he was like, still go to the gym tonight, like still go and have your time, you'll need it. And like it took me like the afternoon, but come the end of the afternoon I was like, yeah, I do deserve a rest. Like, so in that sense, this week I've managed to like remind myself that of that self-care and practice what I preach in a way, and then go to yoga the next morning, and that made the world of difference. So in that sense, I give myself credit, maybe not from the business side. I feel like I'm running at 100 miles an hour. Yeah.
Is this something that you may do differently now we've acknowledged that?
Yeah, because it was also on another call I had this week about being a bit more boundaried with my time and kind of excited to put that in place and then put some reflection in place about what I've actually achieved.
Yeah.
Would probably really help.
And I think it can be so hard because when you're building your own business, there's a never-ending list of things that you could be doing. There are a never-ending amount of people who want to tell you how to run your business and what you should be doing. And it can then feel overwhelming, even deciding what to do next. But also that it's not always directly apparent. You know, if you send an email, you don't necessarily immediately get a sale. It doesn't necessarily work like that. And so it can feel like you are doing a lot of work, but not necessarily seeing the money come in or being able to track where that's come from. Like, how did someone find out about you? Was it through, seeing you in face-to-face workshops and sessions? Is it that they've seen you online? Have they met you at an event? Like, it's a cumulative thing. And so it's really hard to like pull out what was the thing. So I think celebrating everything.
Yeah. Yeah,
How does
definitely.
that feel?
Yeah, good. Definitely feel like I need to move forward with that, just to keep that fire alive a little bit as well. Definitely.
How might you celebrate the actions that you're taking, whether that's towards your health and your self-care, whether that's towards business, whether that's about work, or whether that's about parenting and all of those things? How could you build that in?
Maybe like some reflection in the evening. Go back to that sort of regular practice. Give myself that time in the evening to sit and reflect on how the day went and what I've actually achieved. I think we get now in the world of like social media and running online businesses and things, you forget how much you do in those moments. So like in a moment where my son's occupied and I send an email, or when he's having a nap and I create a slideshow for a presentation or something, like they all add up and you forget how much you've actually done, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, being able to reflect on that at the end of the day, I think would be huge. Yeah. Definitely.
And so I'm just gonna like take us back to what you said at the beginning, which was that what you wanted to achieve from this session was to unblock whatever it is that's holding you back from your potential.
It's that belief in myself that I deserve it, and kind of that reminder every day that I am doing what's going to lead me to get there. Yeah.
Are there any worries or concerns or thoughts or feelings that you have about leaving the employed job and being full-time in your business, and I know it's not full-time, it's 3 days, but just to make life easy to say full-time.
Yeah. Yeah. It is just that, making sure everything's paid, not getting into debt, clearing my debt first as well.
Mm-hmm. So when you said making sure everything's paid, does that feel exciting?
Not making sure everything's paid.
Yeah.
No, not in the slightest. Not in the slightest.
No. So I'm wondering, and I might be completely off track, and please do tell me if I am. But if actually the goal that you're aiming for at the moment is that everything's paid, maybe that's not exciting enough.
Probably not.
Maybe we need to reframe the goal, and we know that the outcome of that goal is that everything gets paid. But actually, maybe the goal needs to be a bit more magnetic.
Go on a cruise every year. That would be amazing.
Or maybe it's working out how many families you supporting would pay everything.
Yeah.
So if it's like the goal is 3 families a month, that'll pay all the bills, or 5, or whatever it is, or whether it's the how many people coming into the membership. But
Yeah.
if I said to you, Jade, 3 months' time, you've quit the employed job, you are supporting 5 families a month, your bills are paid. Does that feel less scary, the idea of giving up that security of the employed job?
Yeah, because I'd be actually doing what I want to do. I'd be benefiting, like supporting people, sort of 2 to 3 days a week. Like, that does sound more exciting when you reframe it like that, definitely.
So I think you need to feel it. I think it's all very much up here. It's like, I need X amount of money. I need to work these days. I need to do this. And like, it's very formulaic, and I get it. But actually sometimes we need to really dive in to what it's going to feel like.
Yeah.
So how would it feel like it's Halloween, for example? You and Noah are out trick-or-treating, if that's what you do. You haven't got work in the morning. You're working as a doula, you're making your own hours. You've got families messaging you, thank you so much for your support. Completely transformed my motherhood experience. Like, how do you feel in yourself? Are you feeling light? Are you feeling energized?
My heart feels really full. I literally felt it right there, like as if it was about to come out of my chest, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, make the goal who I'm helping rather than what it's providing.
And what it feels like.
Mm.
And what it feels like to go into the shop, to go and get the groceries, and to pay without that dread, without counting every penny,
Yeah.
and actually just go, that's fine.
Yeah.
No one needs new shoes. Fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Mm.
How does it feel? I've kind of talked about feelings, but just you tap into your senses. So what can you smell? Can you smell that you've been able to do some baking with Noah? Or like, is it that you're smelling that new baby smell and because you're like cuddling these babies so their mum's going to have a sleep, or whatever it is? Like, what What can you taste? Like, literally tap into all your senses. What can you hear? Like, is it those ringing testimonials of people going, thank you so much? Is it feeling that warm hug as they're like, you have made such a difference in my life?
Yeah, it's the warm hug at the end of it and the thank you and like the gratitude behind it. Yeah, definitely.
So I'm going to set you a challenge.
Yeah.
So every day, whether that's in the morning or the evening, I want you to give yourself 5 minutes to literally visualize your future self. How does it feel? And I did this when I was in my NHS job. What was it feel like to be a life coach, full-time on part-time hours in my business? What would it feel like going to the shop, going to the gym, meeting up with friends, seeing clients, seeing these transformations? And just really put yourself in that future self. Because we're showing our body how it's going to feel. And then it can really connect with that goal. Because just being able to pay the bills isn't getting that excitement going.
Yeah, no, you're
It's
right.
not helping you to create those posts and connect with that mum who really needs you. Because we've all got to pay the bills, but they don't really spark joy, do they?
Not in the slightest.
Apart from the paying for the Disney cruise.
Yeah, I'd enjoy that
bill
one.
might spark joy.
Definitely fills your soul a little bit different, doesn't it? You can feel it in your soul, just that little bit hits differently.
What do you think you'd like to do next after this session?
It's definitely take the 5 minute, visualize my future self. And the reflection in the evening to remind myself that I am actually doing a lot and bringing it all together. And get the wellbeing hub set up so that I've got that in the background.
And prioritize you.
Yeah.
Because without you, there is no business.
Yeah, that's true. I feel that in like a motherhood sense. Like every day I'm like, I've got to look after me to be able to look after Noah. Like it's okay if I want to go to the gym to Zumba, or it's okay if I want to go for a swim, because that looks after me so that I'm better for Noah. But I hadn't ever like envisioned that as a business owner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Show up for myself.
Yeah. And one other question. So when you're thinking of this future you, who is solely working on your business, being a fabulous mummy to Noah, enjoying your life with your lovely little family, how does she feel about being perfect?
Doesn't need to be, because she's got a pretty, like, that's the dream life. Like, doesn't need to be perfect because I'm living it every day. Yeah. Yeah.
And how does that feel compared to how you felt at the beginning of the session?
Definitely more excited for what, and more confident in the fact that I I deserve that life.
You do, absolutely.
The mums I'm supporting deserve the support I can give, and I deserve to give it. That's exciting, definitely.
Because we know what it feels like to be alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we need to get you out there so all of those future mummies don't have to
Mm-hmm.
feel like that.
No, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thank you.
So I think we said next steps are the reflections and the visualizations,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously building the Mama's Wellbeing Hub.
Mm.
Do you feel like you are unstuck? 'Cause I think we said about at the beginning that feeling of that you were blocking. There were some blocks to you achieving your potential.
Mm. I feel like that block was that doubt come the end of the session. Like I feel like I believe that I deserve it. That block is shifting. Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
And the reflections will just help you remind yourself. It's just this positive, we are reinforcing all the things we're doing, all the actions we're taking, that we deserve this. And, our worth isn't dictated by what we do,
No.
but sometimes we've got to kind of build that evidence to remind ourselves, actually, do you know what? I deserve this implicitly. Like we have to build that up so that we actually give ourselves that trust and that grace going, I can do this. I have so much to give to other people. It doesn't matter that I'm not older, that I've got commitments, all this. I can meet people on the same level because I'm living it. I've lived it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have given birth to children in this century.
Yeah.
No disrespect. It's just different. It's different
Yeah.
challenges.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing, because I don't know how you felt before the session, but it can be really nerve-wracking to come into this.
I feel lighter coming out of it though, so thank you.
That's okay. I'm so glad. And I will obviously drop your links in the show notes. So please do give Jade a follow, and absolutely recommend any of Jade's meditations and things, because it's so calming and soothing. It's just a dream. So please do check out all of Jade's links and the show notes. And like I said, just so grateful for you to coming on here. And I'm sure this is going to resonate with so many people, because we all do this. So thank you. Wow, what a conversation. It might have started with a practical question about leaving a job, but at its heart, it became a conversation about self-trust. We explored how old beliefs could quietly shape our decisions, why waiting to feel completely certain can keep us stuck, and how confidence is often built through action rather than before it. If you've ever found yourself torn between the safety of what you know and the pull towards something that feels more aligned, I hope this episode reminds you that you are not alone, and that sometimes the next step isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting yourself enough to take one small step anyway. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Empowered by Claudia podcast. I'm Claudia from claudiasabinawellness.com. If you are ready to take your next step and transform your life, all the ways to connect with me, whether for coaching, courses, or any other sort of support, are in the show notes or on my website at www.claudiasabinawellness.com. If you found value in this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a review, share it with a friend, or post about it on social media. Don't forget to tag me. at Claudia_Sabina_wellness. Your support helps more people discover the tools and guidance they need. I cannot wait to support you on your journey. Much love.